A few weeks ago, I was having a crazy busy day at work. That happens. Mid-afternoon, my phone goes off, and I have an unexpected call from my realtor telling me he's got somebody who is super excited about my house. So excited, in fact, they're going to be there in 2 hours. No problem, I say. I hang up the phone, make some arrangements, and I bolt home because two things. One, I live about 30 minutes away from where I work, and two, my house was nowhere near ready for a showing. So I'm getting there, I'm getting things done, I'm feeling good. My son comes home and he goes, "Mom, oh, thank God you're there. I forgot that I have a drumline practice. It's all the way across town today. Can you get me there?" Not a problem. I got this. So he decides to be helpful, and he gets 2 of our 3 large dogs in the kennel. Our biggest one, Nikos, refuses to go in. We are now T-minus 20 minutes and counting till our showing. So I figure, you know what? We'll take him in the car. Not a problem. So I get my shoes on, I'm bending down, and Nikos thinks that this is an opportunity to play. He comes bounding towards me, and he hits me in the face. And he hits me in the face so hard I think he's broken my nose. The pain is unreal. Sounds that were not my own escape my lips. My eyes are watering so that I can't even see. And my eyesight comes into focus just in enough time to see Nikos backing up and pooping on the carpet. I literally scared the crap out of my dog. And we clean it up, we do the air freshener thing, I get him and my son in the car, and we're going down the driveway, and my car does a little ding to tell me that we're almost out of gas. No problem, we'll get it on the way. So my dog is freaking out this entire car ride, going in and out of the front seat, probably from the events that just occurred. And when we get to the gas station, I tell my son, please hold on tightly to his leash so he doesn't get out of the car. And my son does that. But Nikos is very large, and very strong, and very stubborn. And just as I get both feet out of the car, I feel my dog bounding past me. My reflexes kick in, I grab the leash, and before I know it, I am kneeboarding behind Nikos in the parking lot of a very busy gas station, in a dress. You can see that he is up here. That's Nikos. Love my guy. So we somehow wrangle him in, and I get him in the gas. I get into the gas station. I'm paying for my gas, and as I'm waiting to check out, I see the magazines, and I'm looking at headlines. Lose 10 pounds by next Tuesday. Love your age no matter what. Your best chocolate cake ever. Hotter sex. Do it tonight. Nail your next promotion or interview. Makeup tricks to look 7 years younger. Cute baby crafts that you can make. And my personal favorite, find your balance. And somehow I don't think they're talking about the impressive feat that I just did out in the parking lot. So let's go here and let's put this together, shall we? I'm supposed to bake my best chocolate cake ever, but I can't eat it because I've got to lose 10 pounds by next Tuesday. I'm supposed to love my age no matter what while applying makeup to look 7 years younger. I'm supposed to be a sex goddess making baby crafts while nailing it at the office and feeling balanced. Anybody wondering how we can feel consistently balanced amidst the busyness that is our everyday lives, not to mention things like work, home, school, family, society demands in general? Anybody reading beyond the headlines to a deeper, more conflicted meaning? I love it that every single time I talk about Superwoman syndrome, it never fails that there's one person that says, yeah, but isn't it a choice? And I get this mental image in my head of these women going through these chaotic situations or waking up one morning and going, to be or not to be Superwoman? That is the question. Is it really? Because I think for many, life circumstances and events happened, and they created the demand for superhero-like energy, strength, and determination. I think of people like the single parents who do it all on their own. I think of people who work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. People who spend their lives constantly caring for others. These are some of the most super people that I know. And while this talk is in part for them, at its core, it's for every single one of us. It's a call to and from our compassion, our humanity, that small voice that sits inside every single one of us and speaks to us in our most desperate, trying, exhausted, lonely moments that says, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Can we please go back and do something different? This internal dialogue is absolutely essential to our lives. But most importantly, what we need to do is we need to get the conversation going on a societal level. as to why this needs to be. What I want for you guys today is, if we're going to have a educated conversation on Superwoman syndrome, we need to understand what it is that we're dealing with. So essentially, number one, who is she? At her most basic, we could say that she's overworked or she's overcommitted. But a better snapshot of Superwoman is that she works full-time plus, either in or outside of the home, that she has unpredictable hours, that she's constantly connected via technology devices, that all of her job duties equal out to more than one position, that she's the primary caretaker for at least one other person, and many are in that sandwich generation where they're caring for aging relatives as well as the next generation. She still completes all of the duties in the home, or the considerable amount of them, in addition to volunteering for community and additional work responsibilities. Is it any wonder, if this is a snapshot, why these women are at the highest risk of burnout? And if you've ever been burned out, or if you know somebody who has, you can understand how very quickly that this can seep into things like addiction and mental health. The who is important, but what's most important, what's most vital to discuss is why. And in order to really get a good concept of what is happening, I want us all to go back to elementary school for a little bit. Do you remember the seed in the cup? And how if you gave it things like water and sunlight, it grew well and it grew strong? But if you could do the extended experiments and you gave it things like Diet Coke or coffee or soap, what helped it to grow for a little bit and wither away, and what prevented it from growing at all? And the reason why I ask this, and I'm bringing this back here, is because essentially every single one of us, we're all the seed in the cup. Now, of course, we don't grow by photosynthesis, we grow rather by psychosynthesis. And a very basic version of what that is it's a process where we go through different events and we assign the meaning, and our private logic is formed. And our private logic is how we choose to see the world and how we choose to interact with the world. And for Superwomen, very frequently it goes something like this, is that the expectation is given, and we meet or exceed the expectation, and this is from little on. And we're rewarded with things like praise and respect. Acceptance is bestowed upon us, and our private logic is formed and set. And that really helpful construct that we all do to our kids, that do your best, do your best, do your best, do your best, at some point for Superwomen turns into perfectionism. It's insidious in nature because those things, those constructs that helped us to be wonderful at our jobs and to climb social ladders and to get connected, eventually alienates us from other people, and it alienates us from ourselves. We live in a time where women have shattered many glass ceilings. However, many of us work more to earn less. And when I work with women on this concept, many of them say it's not the masculine standards that they're held to that are the difficulty, but it's the things that other women exhibit, say, and do that are the most difficult, and it's the level of competition. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I stand up here today, and I give this talk frequently, because if I'm going to be honest, I have been Superwoman for more of my life than not. The advice I give, I don't give lightly. I had to face my own demons. I had to stare down very difficult demands, and I had to make some difficult decisions. But this process of doing this led me to a life of meaning and purpose and joy and happiness. I have a life that I love, and unfortunately, more people than not that I know can't always say the same. So I have 4 things that I would like to share with you today. And while I understand I'm not foolish enough to think that we can all change our life at the drop of a hat, there are things that we can start doing in this moment. And the first of which is finding our voice. And we do this by identifying the everybody committee and getting to know our essential versus our social selves. As a therapist, when I sit across from people and they start talking about wanting to change, one of the most frequent things that I hear is, oh, if I did that, everybody would be upset. Everybody would have to change. Everybody fill in the blank. When we look at it, it's really not everybody in the entire world. It's about boiling it down, 6 to 10 people who we hold in high esteem and whose opinions we value. Yes, it's important to consider others as we're going through our lives, but at some point we need to stop and consider ourselves. It's the old flight attendant adage, when they're doing the intro on the plane, that you have to secure your own mask before you assist other passengers, because if you're no good to you, you cannot be good to anybody else. Our essential selves are what we are when we're at our most peaceful, when we're at our most joyful, when we're in that state of flow where we're humans being rather than humans doing. And this isn't just a leisure time construct. I know people who have taken this into their professional lives and have done absolutely amazing things. versus our social selves, which is the us when we're on, when we're conforming to the everybody committee, when we're falling into the shoulds of our lives. Life, when it's truly lived, is an absolute gift and can be joyful, but if you're tackling it like an endless to-do list, you are not fully living. When we spend too much time in our social selves, and a social self that we've constructed that's miles away from our essential selves, this is where burnout happens. This is where mental health and things like addiction happen. And these are the things that we need to be very conscious of. Because step 2 is, we need to quit shoulding ourselves. I know people who should themselves to death. I should do this, I should do that, I should be able to handle all of my responsibilities and not feel like I want to keel over. When we put should on any person, relationship, or situation, we are giving it goals that may or may not have. And this is where things like guilt, shame, self-loathing, self-overloading come into play. Should very commonly is equal to restriction and regret. Every single one of us has in common the fact that our time is like our money in the concept that we only have so much. And it's very precious. There is always time to go out and make more money. There is no way to make more time. What are you doing with yours? Quit shooting it away. And the way that we need to do this is priorities versus balance. I'm going to be very honest, I hate the term balance. I've heard people keep putting that in magazines so they can sell the next issue because you didn't find it last time, so maybe you'll find it this time. Okay, it's not about balance. And I love the well or not so well-meaning people that go up to the Superwoman and go, you know, you would feel so much better if you could just balance it out a little bit. It'd be so much easier. It's not about easy. And never say that to a Superwoman because it's the one more thing that we're not doing or that we're not doing right. And there comes a point when your plate is so overloaded that you can't organize it any further. It's about priorities. The best advice that I can ever give out that will be difficult to follow initially, but will make your life so much easier if you can get there, is identify your priorities, set them, keep them, and live them. This is how you don't should your life and your time away, and it does wonderful, wonderful things. But if we're going to do this, what we really need is to support rather than to separate. We need to hold each other in high esteem. There is room for everybody at the table. We all bring something different, and we need to be able to have the conversation about taking off the cape without another should or another conversation about balance being brought to us. It was fascinating. A few years ago, close to where I teach, there was a group of very well-to-do soccer moms that were busted for a meth ring, and the ringleader was interviewed. And she never wanted to start using methamphetamine. She kind of came into it in a unique way. But she was told that it would help her accomplish all of her goals and her tasks. It would help her lose weight, and it would help her want to clean her house. And I did all those things. And she did this for months. And not one single person asked why she wasn't eating, why she wasn't sleeping. The more she gave, the more was demanded of her. And finally, after her friends going, "I'm so jealous, can you tell me your secret?" she let him in. Not one single person reacted in horror that she had to turn to illegal substances to be able to get through her day. They just asked, how can I do it too? And if this sounds like an extreme story, you're absolutely right, it is. But I know people who do extreme things every day to do it all, do it well, to not let anybody else see them struggle. This can't continue. We need to come together. We need to be individuals that come to build and repair, not destroy and compare. My hope for each and every single one of you is that you found something in this talk today that is inspiring. That later on today, you'll continue sharing this. And maybe again tomorrow, and maybe again in a month or so when this comes up on YouTube. And I'm hoping that you will find times in your everyday lives where you could give voice to this concept. But my question to you is this: what is the voice that you're going to use? The voice of reason or the voice of expectation? The essential self or the social self? My hope for every single one of you is that you quit shooting yourself enough to take off the cape, to know that it's okay, and to take this from an idea worth spreading to an idea worth living. Thank you.